Are you looking for banks and credit unions that are only going to pull your credit from TransUnion? Make sure to watch this 3-part series where I'm giving you the game on all of these different banks and financial institutions that are going to pull your credit using TransUnion and how to go about doing that. Now, my name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. For those of you that are new here, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Give me a huge thumbs up and let me know in the comments that you are here. Welcome. Now, I want to invite everyone that is watching these videos to look at my credit kit. I am giving it to you guys for free, and a lot of this information is in there, but you still want to watch the videos because they are jam-packed full of value that is going to ultimately help you so you don't F up, okay? For those of you that want to learn more, join the credit community, comment the word community. I'll send you exclusive link to join because this is exactly where we talk about this kind of stuff and how to maximize your credit, add those large comparable credit limits so that way you can get high limit credit cards, you can get business funding. The opportunities are absolutely endless, guys. Okay, so in part 1 of the video, which I've left that link below, we covered Apple Federal Credit Union, we covered Navy Federal Credit Union, we covered Apple Credit Card. Okay, yes, Apple, like our phones, the Apple credit card underwritten by Goldman Sachs. We covered the GM Financial Card, also underwritten by Goldman Sachs. And then we also covered US Bank. Watch part 1 for context, okay? Now let's get right into it because in part 1, we left off on Elon Financial. And if you guys are not familiar with who Elon Financial is, let me just give you a brief introduction to them. They are one of the largest credit card companies that provide underwriting services and credit card services to smaller banks and credit unions. This allows smaller banks and credit unions to kind of offer credit cards and not have to worry about it. But what you'll notice is that all of their credit applications look the same. So you can't really get more than, 2. If you get 3 Elon Financial cards, you're kind of pushing it. But you want to plan this out strategically because there are Elon Financial cards for the personal credit and there are also Elon Financial cards through the business credit. Now, if you are planning to get business credit, I would highly recommend that you wait and get your Elon Financial products on the business side because number 1, those credit cards are not going to report to your personal credit. And number 2, you're going to have 18 months of 0% interest. So Elon Financial works with a number of different banks and credit unions. In fact, inside of the credit kit, again, comment the word kit. I'll send it to you for free for you to start learning and planning out your credit funding and your, different sequences that you want to use for your funding round. But this is some Elon Financial tips. And this is exactly what the funding companies do when they're going to be applying for funding on your behalf. They'll go to some of these different banks and credit unions and simply apply and put fluffed up numbers on the application because in actuality, all that these companies are really concerned with is the stated income application information and of course the guarantor's credit report. So if you are a small business owner and your credit doesn't qualify, you can find a guarantor or what's called a credit partner to join your business and get credit products on behalf of the business. They don't report to personal credit, of course, unless you default. So again, you want to stay in compliant, grow these things, treat them, and get to the next level. But these are some of the many hundreds of different banks and credit unions out there that leverage Elon Financial. Can you go to Elon Financial's website directly and apply? No, you cannot, because they are a service provider to banks and credit unions and many others, and they perform this product for them, or they provide this product for them. So what you'll notice is that, they are one of the largest outsourced financial companies that are out there, and they provide the option for over 1,300 different institutions to to provide credit cards to their customers. And sometimes they're underwritten on the personal side, sometimes they're underwritten on the business side. So you always want to pay attention to the application. Oftentimes it can be both, sometimes it can be only on one product. But this is some information on Elon. But for example, 𝒂𝒂𝒃 Credit Union. They are a TransUnion credit union. And guess what? All of those Elon financial institutions are going to be pulling from TransUnion. Why? Because Elon Financial uses TransUnion and they're the underwriting company. So in actuality, these are all Elon Financial applications. So for example, if we go to 𝒂𝒂𝒃 Credit Union and we take a look at, say, their credit cards, let's just head on over to their credit cards. And you'll notice, hey, I'm going to be taking you to an external website. So you want to say continue. And here you are, 𝒂𝒂𝒃 has their website, and you'll start seeing that all of these application pages with Elon Financial are going to look very, very similar. Platinum cards, I love platinum cards and I love signature cards. Okay. So you'll see they have the personal side and then they also have the business side. And again, a lot of their cards come with 0% interest for 18 months. And this platinum card here is on the personal side because in these videos about TransUnion, we're primarily talking about personal credit, but they are also 18 months, 0% interest, and they have some pretty good welcome offers for you guys out there. Now, when it comes to Elon Financial, you do not have to have a relationship with the bank in order to apply. That's kind of a key thing here because in most cases, say if I were to go to Apple Federal Credit Union or Navy Federal Credit Union, I would need to be a member with them in order for me to apply for their credit products. Now with 𝒂𝒂𝒃, since they're using Elon, I don't have to be a member with 𝒂𝒂𝒃. I can just simply go to their Elon page here and apply for one of their credit products. Now you just want to make sure that you're understanding everything. Some cards have annual fees, some cards don't. You know, you want to get the card that's going to be best fit for your goals. If you're looking to do maybe like some debt consolidation, you want to find a card that has 0% interest for balance transfers, then of course you would want to find a card where you can transfer the balance of another credit card to a new card that would have 0% interest for, 18 months on balance transfers. So you really have to read the small print here and just make sure that it's going to be for you. They also have a secured option here that is good for those of you that have a lower credit score. Now, when it comes to not having any sort of relationship with a bank, in this case, Elon Financial, I would recommend that your credit score be closer to 700 plus, preferably 720 plus. A lot of these banks, like US Bank, for example, I talked to my bank rep at US Bank not too long ago. They're looking for a 750 to really optimize and fully, give you what you want, right? I talked to my bank rep at PNC without having, I can't speak today, guys, okay? Without having a relationship with PNC, they are looking for a 780 credit score. With having a relationship with PNC, they're still looking for like a 740, 750 credit score. So these bigger financial institutions, Bank of America, Chase, definitely looking for 700 plus. Now, have I seen people with a lower credit score get approved? Yeah, absolutely. If you don't have any negatives, you don't have any charge-offs, you don't really have much going on, but maybe just a limited credit history, that might work out for you. Now, what I would probably recommend in that case is add a trade line or two. What we do is add you to an authorized user trade line. It adds history and higher limits to your credit, adding comparable credit to what your goals might be. If your goal is to get a high limit credit card, but your highest credit limit is only $1,000, chances are if you just go apply with the profile that you have, the place that you're applying with is probably going to give you $1,000, maybe $2,000, right? Because they approve you based on your comparable credit. What type of limits have you already been trusted with, right? Oftentimes you're not going to see with your, lowest card or maybe your highest card at 2,000, chances are a bank's not going to just give you 20K unless you really worked on the relationship with them, like with Navy Federal, but they're one of a kind, right? But like Apple Federal Credit Union, they're also really good for that as well, high limits. But in actuality, it is challenging to get those higher limits when you don't have any comparable higher limits, meaning no one has trusted you with this amount of money. But when you have authorized users, you're applying late at night, the computer's not going to be able to differentiate what's an authorized user and what's not. A human could see it, but the computer system is just going to approve you based on the average credit, and hopefully you'll get that higher tier, close to 20, 30K. So that way you can start moving up and taking those stepping stones to get the 30, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and then just kill it on the business side. Because if you set up your personal credit profile right with higher limit comparable credit, you're definitely already setting that standard that a lot of banks and financial institutions shown, and you've proved that you can manage high limits. You can be trusted. You're not, impressed with those type of limits. You're not maxing them out. You're not, mismanaging your credit, because let me tell you, this is just a drop in the bucket for these banks. Okay. Don't mess it up. We want the long-term effect. You want to be able to buy money-making assets, okay? Whatever that might be for you, but there's so many opportunities out there for you to leverage credit to build wealth, for you to leverage credit to be able to buy equipment to start a business, okay? That's the most important thing, right? No matter what type of business you're going to start, you're going to need some sort of equipment or, credit, because there's things that you have to invest in, right? These are great ways to be able to make things happen. Okay. So, now not necessarily pulling the, cash off the credit card, or, you could, but it's risky, right? But, just credit in general, right? If you have shown and proved that you can manage a $50,000 or $30,000 credit card, you should have no problem getting loans for that. Now, of course, you still want to add comparable credit. Credit Strong is a great way to add high limits. Personal loans, we're going to go over a bank in part 3 where you can add higher limit comparables as far as like the installment side, because you still have to have installment loans, which is any sort of payment where it's going to be the same every single month until that balance is paid off. Personal loan, student loan, secured loan, pledge loan, car loan, home loan, all that stuff. Loan, right? And then on the flip side of that, you have your revolving accounts, which can fluctuate based on your spending habits. You have you have credit cards, and then you also have lines of credit, right? A line of credit is also a revolving account. Now, when it comes down to financing two things, furniture and health procedures, you want to be careful, right? Because there's the CARE credit card. They pull TransUnion as well, right? But if they give you $10,000 and the procedure's $10,000, you just maxed out a brand new credit card, which is going to tank your credit score. Versus if you get a loan for a health procedure, which a lot of companies provide loans for. There's BHG, SoFi, Upgrade, there's a ton of them, right? But they provide a loan. A loan is not going to affect your credit utilization. So it is not going to affect you, right? And you'll just pay the monthly payments. But if you put that same $10,000 on a credit card, that would affect your credit utilization. So we really have to manage our credit cards and understand how to play the game. We don't want to allow our credit usage or the balance of our credit cards exceed, over 25%, right? That's where you're going to see your credit scores drop because your credit usage is too high. You have to understand we can use our cards, but we also have to pay them. Let's treat them like a debit card. Put all of our spend on our cards, work the limits up, and then get the lines increased, but ultimately we're going to hold our debt on our business. All right. So be careful when it comes to these credit cards. And again, we're going to be going over a lot in these series, this 3-part series. So make sure to watch everything. But you'll see here, there's a lot of different opportunity here from you just from 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 And then if you did get to like on the personal side and you wanted to go after some in the business side, you're probably going to have to wait, I would say at least a year or two to really show and prove that you can manage those cards, build up that relationship and so on and so forth. Another card that I did not mention in this presentation, I wasn't planning to, is the Fidelity card. And I really like that card. The Fidelity Visa signature card is also going to be a card that is going to use TransUnion. Now, the great thing about this is signature. We always are going to look for the signature credit card because we know a signature credit card is going to be a higher value. The Fidelity card, again, signature Visa card, definitely a great card. It is also underwritten by Elon Financial. You'll see here, Elon Financial. So pick your cards wisely, but this is a card that is also high limits, usually about a $20K, and again, underwritten by Elon Financial. So it's another really great opportunity for you to get like a higher limit credit card, especially if you add a couple higher limit authorized user accounts, kind of setting that bar a little bit higher to push for those higher limit approvals. Next bank is Journey Bank, and Journey Bank is again an Elon Financial bank. So you're going to go check out their different credit products. They have a lot of different opportunities as well. Personal loans, savings account, mortgage lender. So you don't need to have, this is not a credit union by any means. So you don't need to be a member to apply for their credit products, but it is a relationship-based bank. And whenever you're dealing with relationship-based banks, it's always best practice to have some sort of account with them and try to build up that relationship so you can maximize your odds of getting approved. Now, when it comes to their credit cards, it doesn't really matter because, again, they're using Elon Financial, which is primarily just going to be looking at your TransUnion personal credit report. And that is the most important thing, is just understanding that the data that they look at, you need to make sure that that data is optimized. Your credit score is at least a 700, preferably higher. Nowadays, you really want to set the bar higher, and it's almost like you're better off waiting until your credit score is to like that 720, 750 range, even if you have to invest a little bit in some trade lines to get you there, because that's where you're going to see the better approval rates. That's really what the banks are looking for, especially if you want higher limits. And of course, the information on the application matters as well. Like if you put that your income is really low, then of course the bank's not going to want to give you a $20,000 credit card. But if your household income is high, like that number is high because you work, maybe your spouse works, maybe you have another person in the home that brings in income, or you have a side business that brings in income. So your household income is $300,000. That would make sense, right? That way the bank would feel confident lending to someone. That's just an example, but of course, put in what fits for you in your household and your business. This is the Journey Bank credit card page, and as you can see, it looks extremely similar to Connexus, right? Absolutely. So they are both Elon, and you can tell because all of the Elon pages, like credit card pages and application pages, they all look the same, and you can totally tell if you scroll down to the very bottom, you'll see Elon Financial right there. So you always want to look to see if, when you're planning your funding sequence and when you're planning to apply for credit, you want to make sure that you don't apply for more than like 2 Elon Financial credit cards, okay, at a time. You can wait some time and then get some more down the road, but I wouldn't go more than like 2, 3 is really pushing it. But you know, just to maximize your odds, I would say probably stop at 2. And you can see that a lot of their credit cards are pretty much the same. They have the same platinum card, which has the intro APR for purchases and balance transfers at 0% APR for the first 18 billing cycles. And then after that, you're looking at 17 to 28 based on your credit worthiness when you open your account. Now, that could definitely help a lot of people, because say you have a credit card that you got with Navy Federal and it's like a $20,000 credit card and you let it get out of hand. And now that credit card is at, you know, 10,000 or 15,000, God forbid 20,000, right? Well, the interest rate is really bad. I already know. It doesn't matter if it's Navy Federal or somebody else. You're paying probably a ton of money, a few $100s a month in interest. But if you can get approved for one of these platinum cards through Elon or another financial institution that will allow 0% interest balance transfers, that you can transfer that balance to a 0% interest card for 18 months. If you put it together a strict budget for yourself, you can get that debt paid down in 18 months. You might have to get some side hustles going, generate some extra income, but you need to get that done, because this is an opportunity for you to get out of debt and kind of restart and learn from that mistake, because we don't want to let our spending on our credit cards get out of hand. They can, especially when we get high limits. It's almost like these credit cards are burning a hole in our pocket, but we want to have the mindset that these are for decoration only. Okay. We can use them, but we cannot abuse them. Okay. We want to keep them long term. All right. We don't want to mess up. So many people come back to me and say, I messed up. And I'm like, hey, I can't help you. You know, gosh. So we want to make sure that we use these credit cards the way that they're supposed to be used, help us get out of debt, make, you know, earn more money on our spend, have comparable credit for business credit, you know, all of these things that are going to benefit us long term. This is another very popular Elon Financial, which is NBCK, National Bank of Kansas City. Okay. Another, you know, TransUnion Bank, because again, these cards are going to be pulling from Elon. Now, just because NBKC credit cards are pulled from TransUnion, they could use other credit reports for other credit products. Now, when you see these Elon credit cards, it means that it's a different company. So if you go and apply for, say, like a personal loan, which, you know, NBKC will handle internally, they could pull from TransUnion, they could pull from Experian, right? So they could use other credit reports. So I just want to put that out there as a warning if you are going to be locking your reports. And then if you go back to the bank and ask them for another type of credit product, auto loan, personal loan, consolidation loan, whatever the case may be, you might have to unlock your reports and allow them to pull what it is that they need to pull in order to get you approved. So that's just a side note on that. But you can, you know, you get the drift with these Elon cards. They're great. They all look the same. Again, this is another one that has 0% interest. Pretty much all of their products are the same welcome offer. So that's why I say you can get 2 cards that have the 0% interest for 18 months. Same thing with the business side. They have the 0% interest for 18 months on the business side as well. So, you know, there's just a lot of opportunity. And of course, you can earn points, and there's some different welcome offers, but it's kind of just based on, you know, what's going to be best for you. If you're looking for cash back, you're probably not going to get as long of a 0% APR, but, you know, pick and choose which is going to be best for you. Next up, we have Alliant Bank. This is actually a credit union, and I personally have Alliant as well. The downside about them is they could potentially do a hard pull when you join the credit union. That's kind of common with a lot of these credit unions. And I do remember Alliant that when I joined their bank, they initially did a hard credit pull with me, and I believe it was through like Experian, if I'm not mistaken. But I ended up getting it off, so I wasn't that upset. But when you are joining credit unions and different banking institutions, they could perform a hard pull when you're just joining the bank. Some do, some don't. But again, if you have your reports locked, then they wouldn't be able to do so, which could prevent you from opening the account. So in some cases, you will have to kind of let them do their thing in order to get them approved. But, keeping your reports locked in the event of like doing a credit stacking like this, like if you're applying for multiple credit products and you only want to use TransUnion, then of course we would lock Experian and Equifax and, vice versa in other cases. But Alliant is a great bank. They have a lot of different opportunity here. You're going to be going over to their credit cards. They have the signature card, which is one of my personal favorites. And then they also have platinum card. So signature and platinum, those are the type of cards that we're going to be looking for when we're doing our credit stacking sequences. I mean, of course, depending on what you want, but if you want high limits, signature, platinum, right? Sometimes they might have an annual fee for the card, but in many cases, it's well worth it. Okay. But you can apply right online with them. Again, best time to apply for most of these type of cards is going to be late at night. Now, the one thing that I do like about Alliant is they have a pre-qualification tool right here. So you can go on their website and you can select, what type of card, what card you want. Right now, they have the platinum card that has a 0% interest for 12 months on purchases and balance transfers. Okay. Now with Alliant, since they are a credit union, you do have to be a member with them in order to apply for their credit products. And that is the case with most credit unions, unless that credit union uses like Elon Financial, right? But Alliant, have to be a member with them. Very easy to become a member with them. Head over to their website, alliantcreditunion.com, and you can go to their membership website and you can get one of these things to, kind of get you started, right? You can get a high rate checking, high rate savings, or you can just open up a certificate, right? A low minimum deposit of only $1,000. There's no maximum. So that's for their certificate. And like I was saying, most CD accounts for most financial institutions are kind of going to start at that $1,000 range. And that's why I like Apple Federal Credit Union, because they start much lower. Okay. And we've got the rate sheet inside of the community. If you're not part of the community and you find this type of information valuable, life-changing like I did, join the community, because I talk about this. We've got so many different master classes that we've done and I've done with other people that are going to just help provide you with the information that you need to get funding. I don't charge a fee, for funding or anything like that. You're paying for coaching, you're paying for the information, you apply it and go from there. Back to the subject at hand, Alliant is great for those of you that are looking for another credit union to start building a relationship with. They also have kids savings account. They've got high rate savings account for you. And they've have, a lot of just great opportunities, mortgage, home loans. I was actually speaking to one of the loan professionals in the mortgage department, and they were telling me that what they are looking for is 12 to 24 months of on-time payments, but at least 12 months of on-time payments from your credit accounts in order to get you approved for your mortgage. Of course, they're going to need, bank statements, tax returns for the last 2 years, 3 months worth of bank statements, 3 months worth of pay stubs. But they have a lot of good opportunity there. You can also get a home equity line of credit if you own a home, vehicle loans, RV loans, Tesla loans. If you want to purchase an electric vehicle and get a really good rate, they will finance Teslas. Okay. So definitely check them out. They've also got commercial real estate. They've got personal loans here as well. So if you are looking to reconsolidate some debt or you need some, funds to make that happen, they are really good. They don't have origination fees. They don't have a lot of that stuff that other, financial institutions actually have. So you can head over to their website and see if you qualify, who is eligible. Pretty much everyone. It's not hard. There are no membership fees at Alliant, and you can do a lot of things over the phone with them. If you are a part of their communities, you can join that, but you can definitely join them pretty darn easily. Now, inside of the credit kit, I also have a list of credit unions in here with information. So there's a ton of different credit unions that are already in this list, and kind of give you how to join, all that good stuff. So comment the word kit and I'll definitely send that to you. Now, one thing I will say about Alliant is they don't have a big business department. So if you are business related and you're looking for a business that you can maybe start with on the personal side and grow into on the business side, Alliant is probably not going to be your best option here. You want to go with a credit union that specializes in small business funding as well. So there's a ton of them out there, but Alliant's probably not going to be the better one for you. But if you are looking for good credit cards, they have high limit credit cards as well. And just like a little side bank to kind of build with, they're great. Again, TransUnion Bank for the credit cards, and just an overall decent bank for other funding products like auto loans, personal loans, things like that. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up part 2, but I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't by now, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. Get my free credit kit while I'm still generous enough to give it to everyone for free. I want you to learn. I want you to take action. And most importantly, share this information with a friend. Make sure that they're subscribed to my channel. Check out the merchandise, check out the credit community. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.